Welcome to Smash Writing. Today we are reviewing the 2023 film Bottoms. Oh, this is like not too often that we do like newer movies.
Yeah,
like we're cooking here.
Normally we're either jotting on the spot or we're 550 years in the past.
Yeah. I'm Paul. This is Justin. Today we are reviewing Bottoms. Starring, God, you're on Ruby Cruz, Rachel Sennett. Well, speaking of Ruby Cruz, this is actually her debut film. So let's give her props on that one.
Ayo Edebiri.
Yeah.
That's messed up. I'm going to get out of that. Sorry.
Marshawn Lynch. Crush that name. There we go.
Nicholas Galenzine.
Yeah, let's stop right there.
Yeah. Havana Rosalou, just to finish out the ones I got on the board.
There we go.
Now, this was a movie that I was going to do this review by myself, but we needed some more for group, so I'm like, throw it on Bottoms. Because I was supposed to do this the second week of January.
Okay. I was really thinking like you were going to go see it in theaters and do a on-spot review.
No, this was third or fourth on my list for the year.
I honestly never caught wind of it until you did that film and then reminded me of the film.
I had seen a couple trailers for it, but from what I've gotten from a lot of like reviewers and reactors I've seen doing this movie, this was a movie that got slim because of the strike. No one could advertise for it, so it kind of came and went.
Okay. I get why it was like not a bigger budget film, but as always, let's get into the plot.
This movie kicks us off. We meet our main characters, PJ and Josie. They're getting ready for a school fair. PJ is typing them up. It's going to be their year. They're going to get laid. A couple other words I'm not going to say on YouTube. But Josie is, they each have their own crush. Josie's all about Isabella. PJ is all about Brittany. And Josie's like, oh yeah, let me go talk to Isabella about her boyfriend Jeff. As Josie is down on their luck. They're losers kind of deal. And she doesn't think she has a chance, but she has a 20-year plan. Where she'll meet up with her in 20 years at the 20-year reunion when Jeff has run her ragged. That is not the saddest sentence that we're going to hear in the next 10 minutes either. But they're off to the fair where we meet all the characters, starting with Hazel. Then we see Brittany and Isabella from a distance, and we meet the high school football quarterback, Jeff, Isabella's boyfriend. There's just so much that happens at this fair. I'm not going to talk about any of it here.
Yeah, it's not YouTube friendly what goes on at this fair.
Well, even the stuff that is, there's just stuff that's happening in the background at every moment in this movie.
That is true.
But they do end up talking to Isabel and Brittany. And it is the most awkward levels of flirting. I'm guessing this was Paul's level of flirting back in high school.
No, I was above this. I didn't have a 20-year plan.
It goes really bad for them, so they're leaving the fair and they're upset. And Josie goes on this nightmarish future she believes she's in store for. And you can tell it is just all off the cuff. Because at one moment you see PJ look kind of at the camera and off the screen kind of deal. But after this is done, you see Isabel and Jeff coming through the parking lot. She's trying to get away from him because she busted him. I'm guessing, by the way they say this name, he's hitting on a teacher. So yeah. She ends up getting in the car with them, and he won't get out of the way. So they kind of rush the car forward but stop it just before it makes contact with him. But he freaks out anyways. He hits the ground, starts screaming.
Grabbing his knee.
Which sends a psychic wave to the rest of the football team who comes running to his help.
They were all stooges.
They are parkouring over parked cars that they don't have to touch.
Run straight!
And Isabel ends up storming off. Josie and PJ back up and drive away. As Tim is screaming to the heavens that they'll get revenge. The next day in school, though, everyone's kind of looking at them. Because at the fair, Josie is wearing a sling. And they told Hazel that they got it in juvie. So Hazel made it her life's mission to tell everyone in school that they were killing people in juvie over summer. And that they beat up Jeff at the school fair. Despite the fact that Isabel was there, she even questions them about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually get called down to the principal's office to talk about what happened. And they're about to be expelled whenever Josie tells them that it was just them simulating their fight club. And PJ, not fight club, self-defense club. PJ turns it into fight club and wants to do it for real. Because she sees that they can raise their status in school, and all of the intensity of punching each other in the face can get them closer to Isabel and Brittany. And Josie unwillingly goes along with this idea. In the first group meeting, PJ lies about what happens at juvie. So does Josie, but Josie's lie is insane.
No, technically, was PJ and Josie ever in?
No.
Okay.
This was Hazel taking their sarcasm as reality, because Hazel doesn't understand sarcasm. And it ends with
sounds about right.
Josie punching PJ in the face, because PJ wanted to be punched to show that she can take a punch. And gets all the girls who are in this club so far excited for this idea, but they need an advisor. And they also need to talk Josie into doing this, because she doesn't want to do this still. Until Isabel takes interest in the club, so she's on board now. But they still need an advisor, which they get through Mr. G.
The rapper?
The rapper. He was reading a book called Divorced and Happy.
Yeah. Well, before you even get to that, talk about, like, Mr. G's introduction, like, because Jeff, like, brings, the
first day, whenever Jeff comes into the room, because he is pretending he's injured on these crutches, and he calls out Josie and breaks a beaker and then makes a motion. And Mr. G's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You could just do that with your hands?
Yeah. Instantly, you knew this was going to be the teacher that everybody wants as a teacher.
But they get him to be their advisor under the belief that this is a, as he called it, period club. And that he's going to show how much of an ally he is to women by not showing up. He won't be there. But he does show up. And he almost calls off the second meeting because of the violence in it.
Yeah, I like how he's like stunned. He's like,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, he's like, I can't allow this.
Call this shit off. But Josie gives a real deep, passionate speech about Huntington coming, because that's the big thing. Huntington School is going to be coming to play their school in football. And it's got all the women in this movie nervous. Because at the beginning, one of the Huntington players even punched one of the girls in the face. So they're real nervous about this, and that's what they're building the self-defense club about, is protecting themselves from Huntington. So cue the montage of these girls doing Fight Club, punching each other in the face. Some of it is like clunky, and like, oh, what is that? And then some of it is like, oh, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
But they're all getting closer, and this idea of PJ and Josie's is working. They're getting closer to Isabel and Brittany. And so much, Hazel comes up with this idea to, get them to, instead of, punching each other in the next club meeting, to sit around and have a talk. And this is where Tim comes back into play. He doesn't like this club because he thinks it's taking interest away from the football team, which plants seeds for what will come later. But during the conversation, during the sit-around, you get some wild-ass confessions in this. The stalker.
Yeah.
I think the stalker one stands out because that's actually what really happens.
Yeah.
So in this movie that's so exaggerated, you have real stuff that fits in perfectly because of how insane it is. You have the insane girl who wants to take out her stepdad because of movie nights.
Yeah.
But this is where Josie, though, doubles down on her lie. Did you pick up on what she's quoting?
No.
Hunger Games.
No shit.
Yeah, she's describing her time in juvie, like the synopsis from Hunger Games. The tributes and betting on people who would win.
No, yeah. All right.
But her lie actually works, and she secures a date with Isabel for the next day. But Hazel goes home, and she catches her mom sleeping with Jeff.
Yep.
And she goes and she tells PJ and...
Good for Jeff, though. Good for Jeff.
Yeah, good for Jeff.
Good for Jeff.
Not child molestation charges or anything.
Well, no, I mean the mom was like, you know,
Not good for any of them. But what's it? So they end up getting it out of Hazel because she can't remember his name. She thought Jeff was her mom's safe word. And Josie takes her out to the diner called But I Am a Diner. I see what you did there, movie. I reviewed that. It's a play off of But I'm a Cheerleader.
Gotcha.
And she has a choice. She has two confessions to make, and she chooses to tell her about Jeff, which sends her into a hysterical moment. And the next day at school, we learn about Jeff's pineapple allergy, and he's confronted by Isabel. And he tries to lie about it, but he outs himself. And that's when revenge is decided. And the girls are talking about eggs and toilet paper. Hazel throws out the idea of a bomb.
Sounds about right.
But they answer in the sarcasm, which she doesn't understand. So while they are doing a terrible job at egging and TPing his house...
You couldn't get more terrible than them not even being able to throw toilet paper over the tree.
I could break both my arms and I could do a better job. But while they're failing at this, she is failing at setting up a ball for 15 seconds instead of 15 minutes. And the explosion interrupts what would have been the first kiss between Isabel and Josie. But now, because of this, though, they think that the club is going to be torn apart. So they're getting ready to, they're saying their goodbyes and getting ready for the end of the club, which pisses off PJ. And her and Hazel get into it, and it ends with PJ saying, "You have no friends, and your mom's a skank," and that sends Hazel off. But Tim catches this and goes after Hazel. That night, Isabel and Josie hook up, and PJ learns the hard way that Brittany is straight. But she should have been paying attention. There was a bunch of pictures of straight relations around the bed.
But she likes gay porn.
No, we learn that later.
Yeah.
Next, there was a pep rally. Tim calls out Hazel, and they're going to be demonstrating what she learned in the club. She thinks it's going to be with PJ, though, because she wants revenge on PJ. It ends up being against Tucker, the guy who we've seen living in a cage. Is the school's #1 boxer. To be fair, she does put up a fight for a little bit, but she does end up losing. It even gets punted in the face.
Randy Orton.
He's like, a woman can't keep up with a regular guy. You know, this guy is a brick shit house living in a cage.
There's nothing regular about him. And on top of that, being a trained boxer.
Yeah. The #1 boxer.
#1 boxer. That's on a whole new... That's almost like saying, like, oh, well, these guys, they're normal guys, but they're former Navy SEALs. No, that's not normal.
The fact that she actually manages to keep up with him for a little bit is pretty damn impressive. And the fact that she might have been the only member of the club to be able to, because she came in with a bit of fighting experience.
Yeah.
Because she's mentioned that she knows Taekwondo. But this is where the club is. PJ and Josie are outed as fakes, and they only got into this to sleep with cheerleaders. So now everyone hates them. Then PJ and Josie have a falling out. Cue sad montage, which I have a problem with. What's sad about eating SpaghettiOs out of a can? It's just lunch. I don't...
Lunch to you. We live different lifestyles.
Yes, we do.
We live so different lifestyles.
But this leads Josie to their former babysitter, Gay Yoda, otherwise known as Rhodes. It's where we learn about the rivalry with Huntington. This isn't just a school rivalry. Huntington kills players.
Yeah.
The one year they drowned him in a kiddie pool. There was a burning at the stake. There was a drawn in quarters.
And it's not even like it's a accidental, oh, he fell on my blade or something. He's like, we purposely are doing these vicious kills.
So Josie runs and she gets PJ, and they get the club back together to try to save the school. And they need a distraction to try to figure out what they're about to do. So they get Hazel to try to blow up a tree. But she can't remember how she messed up, and she set the bomb wrong, and it won't go off. And that leads Hazel and PJ to have like this makeout session. And you get one of the best lines in the movie was one of the guys in the stadium was like, "Can we knock this gay shit off? I'm here for some grappling and slapping football."
Yeah.
Man on man football. But that's when the girls realizes that there's pineapple juice on the field. Josie finds the pineapple juice. The other woman figures
Because
out
Jeff is allergic
It's,
to pineapples.
it's in the sprinklers. So they run out there to get Jeff off the field, and this leads to a big brawl between the Huntington, was it Golden Ferrets versus the Fight Club?
Yeah, pretty much.
And there are full-on deaths in this brawl. For some reason, the crazy girl ends up with Sylvie. She ends up with a sword. All is well, ends on a great note, and the tree blows up, and we get bloopers at the end during the credits.
Some of them wasn't bloopers. Some of them were just like extended scenes. Because like, they were just like, you can tell like they probably wanted to use some of these scenes and just couldn't.
Well, I think the one, like, Jeff was like just kept insulting the lunch lady, and it was just like, just keep insulting her. We're gonna pick our favorite one,
Yeah, pretty much.
and that is Bottoms.
Bottoms, yes. First off, I do want to say, I think it is a badass way of slowly trying to kill somebody with pineapple juice.
Yeah, that is an
Knowing
interesting
that
way.
they're allergic to pineapples.
They're going to hold him down in the sprinklers and be doused with pineapple juice.
Gallons upon gallons of pineapple juice. That's a painful slow kill. Like, that's insane.
I say this short enough. Hazel's the MVP of this movie. The inability to recognize sarcasm. The way she was sitting on the bleachers, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And then she just starts pulling out bombs. It's like, you are the MVP of the school.
However, Mr. G, Marshawn Lynch, Rap Dog is what. No, I'm just playing. Every scene they gave him, he stole. Whether it's by saying some dumb shit or his reaction, he took it like Mr. G needs his own show or something. But he doesn't need to be in it all the time. He just needs to be in 5 minutes at the end of the episode and just like laugh your ass off. I love Mr. G.
I really like the dynamic characters between PJ and Josie. Their chemistry was they had great chemistry throughout this movie. And having the two different character sides to each other, characteristics really played well. So it allowed PJ to just be loud and in your face, while Josie is more held back and reserved and thinking things through.
Now,
But not really, though, because Josie tells the biggest lies.
that is true.
PJ's lies are...
PJ's
Tame.
lies are, she's just loud about it.
Yeah.
Like, she'll step up and say it, but then Josie just went off on the deep end.
Yeah, because it's like PJ's like when they were lying about their time in juvie, PJ's like, well, I punched a girl in the face in the rain. And Josie's like, some woman tried to kill me with rat poison, so I killed her first. Don't worry, the ambulance brought her back, and we had a nice talk afterward.
Yeah.
There is something always, like I said, there's something always going on in the backdrops of these, every scene. You had, like, blow-up dolls in the back of the fair.
That is true.
I don't know what the hell those kids were doing during the cafeteria scene, but it's like, what is going on?
Well, do you see the one writing in his notebook?
Yeah, because he got smacked in the face with the fruit bowl.
He just wrote...
I'm not going to repeat that on video.
No. But just the line that he just wrote was...
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I love the dynamic, even the friendship between Isabel and Brittany, where Brittany's like, oh, my entire personality is within Isabel, that's why I just follow her around. But then you had like that little moment, though, during the sad montage where Isabel is getting back with Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And for a moment, you just see Brittany roll her eyes and like hunch over like this again. God damn it.
We've all witnessed that in person. All did the same thing.
Like, she's gonna go with her because she's her best friend, but she hates it deep down.
True.
The conversations were so fluid throughout this movie, too.
Yeah.
Just one conversation into another.
So, give it a grade.
This is an S-tier movie.
I knew you were.
Top tier movie, go watch this movie immediately.
So,
I'm trying to buy it on DVD, but for some reason, it won't come out to DVD. Or else it's just not anywhere near us.
or too soon.
This came out in like July or August.
But limited releases, though, sometimes alter.
Oh, fuck limited releases.
So,
Fuck Best Buy.
well, that is a later discussion because they ticked me off too, yes. The movie still brought you in $789 million. Just saying. I gotta be on Amazon. Or Target.
Both the places I don't like either. I miss stores.
I'm getting kind of older in my age where I like online, but I like to still go physically see it.
Anyway, back to the movie.
So I've been going back and forth between B plus and A. The one thing that I can't get over is generally for me there's a fine line of going over the top that just kind of kills it, and I feel like they were going back and forth with that, just like.
I think it helps that everything is so over the top that everything is just, it normalizes everything.
I just don't like it so much. Another thing that it kind of felt like was at the very beginning of the film, it almost didn't rely on actual humor. They were like relying on you just getting a laugh out of like teenagers swearing. I'm not saying that was what they're trying to do. It was just like so much like F this, F that, blah, blah, blah. And there was not like a joke involved. You're just like, there's just people swearing right now. So that kind of hurt my grade a little bit too. And I don't get the timeline here. We were talking about this off camera.
You're too tied up with this timeline thing.
It bothers me, damn it. With that flip phone, it threw me off. I was okay with Jeff and his Pontiac. I was okay with the girls with that type of van that
doesn't have a sliding door.
Yeah. I was okay with that because...
Oh, that's another thing. Music choices. The music was good choices.
But then you had Jeff wearing headphones. But then you have the babysitter, the former babysitter of Josie, identifying with all the 20 years things that they are in 23.
Well, you're nitpicking too. Because you just pointed out his headphones without mentioning the fact that he's wired to a CD Walkman.
Well, yeah.
Or the phone book that Tim was using to find numbers.
Right. Like, you can go on and on and on.
That's fine, though, because like I said, everything is so weird in this world that everything is pretty much fucking normal.
I don't know. It kind of was going back and forth. I know it's an over-the-top coming of age. I do think, like, there was a good story involved. Because, actually, didn't PJ actually end up being with Hazel?
Well, they left that ambiguous.
I kind of felt like they were going that way. Like,
I would like to see a sequel to this movie. Because that's a nice little hook for the sequel.
Yeah.
Is what's going to happen with PJ and Hazel.
So...
And I really want to see what prom is in this school. Without insane this football game was. Like, can you imagine the bigger events in high school? Can you really imagine what graduation would be like at this school?
We may find out. So overall, for me, I'm giving it a B+. But what worries me is...
It worries you?
Well, no,
Does it
like...
keep you up at night?
You're giving it an S tier, I'm giving it still a... I feel like this will eventually get lost in the shuffle of movies.
I don't think so.
No?
No. I think we're going to see this movie rise.
Well, we shall see. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.